How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel, hope you're all doing well. So today we have episode 1 of my Vanguard 101 series, where we're going to be breaking down some tips and tricks for the newer players that are looking to improve at the game. We're going to start off with more basic stuff like movement in today's episode, and gradually get onto more advanced tactics and tips. So as I said, today we're going to be looking at movement. So we're going to be looking at things like how to slide cancel, that sort of thing, different movement strategies. And then at the end, we're just going to go for some quick tips on how to improve your movement and things that you can think about to sort of get one over on the enemy and win those gunfights. So without further ado, guys, we'll get into the first movement style now, and I hope you enjoy the video. So up first, we're going to talk about slide cancelling. Now this is going to be used to sort of slide around corners to get your aim up ready, as you can see in the video. And just if you know an enemy's sat in a corner, you can slide cancel around, and you can use that to break his camera and get one over on him, and then you're going to win that gunfight most likely. And this can also be used to reset your tactical sprint. So it does help you have auto tac sprint turned on for this, but basically every 2 slide cancels it's going to reset on this game, which is different to Modern Warfare, but it does feel very similar. And I'll show you some settings just here in a second of what you can change in the game to make this a lot easier for you and to make your movement smoother. But you'll see a lot of the big sort of Vanguard and Warzone streamers sort of sprinting around slide cancelling. This is a pretty common one, but I just wanted to go through it with some of you. So basically what I'm doing here is tac sprint, and then I'm going to tap slide, then tap slide again, so that's the crouch button, and then tap X or the jump button. So that's basically slide, crouch, jump, and that's going to go again. And yeah, as I said, it does help if you have auto tac sprint on, because this way you can just simply hold forward on the analog stick to sort of keep running forward, or you can just double tap the analog stick forward if you don't already have auto tac sprint turned on. So I'm just going to take you through now a couple key settings that are going to make this movement a lot smoother, and one of them is kind of key to have if you want to move like you did back in Modern Warfare. So first you want to go to your controller settings, and you want to go down to automatic airborne mantle, and you want to set this to partial, and then if you press square to show more, you're going to put the grounded mantle on off and the auto ground mantle on off as well. And this is going to let you slide cancel a lot smoother. Trust me, this does make a lot of difference. And then if you go down, auto tac sprint, you want to put that on there, as you can see. That one does really help. And also I like to put my slide behaviour on tap, as it's a lot easier and faster to do than to hold. Now up next, let's talk about jump shots. This is sort of the second most common movement, which you'll do once you get used to it without even thinking about it. So essentially all this is what it says in the name. So you're going to jump and shoot at the same time. It does help if you play sort of the claw grip on your controller, or if you have one of the scuff controllers or anything like that. Obviously this will help as well, as that will allow you to jump and aim and shoot at the same time without sort of moving your hands too far. So basically when you'd use this, is similar to a slide cancel. If you know somebody's around a corner, it's a good idea just to jump, because basically this will break their camera and they're not going to be expecting you to fly through the air at them. You'll notice a lot of people do this when they re-chal. So say you get shot at and you run around into cover, you could run back out and do a jump shot back onto them, because it's going to catch them off guard, and you're most likely going to get that win on them. Just remember to try and centre up your crosshairs in the middle of the screen when you jump around a corner. And as you've seen in the video there, you can link this up to another jump, which we call a bunny hop. Now this will send you even further and make you even harder of a target to hit if an enemy is around a corner. It also works pretty nicely with sniping if you can get the centre up, as you can jump around the corner. Obviously in the video here it's a bit exaggerated, these are bots on Das House, but I just want to show you some examples. And you can also jump backwards and do a bunny hop, which is called a fadeaway. It's just little movements to think about. Up next, we're back on Das House for this one with the bots. So we're going to talk about Dropshots. Now this is essentially basically when you run into an enemy, you're going to instantly hit the little prone button or just hold it down. That's going to make you lie down. And once again, you're going to be a harder target to hit on the floor. Obviously, in these newer games, you got the slides, because back in MW2, for example, you didn't have the slides, so you'd literally just hit the floor. But now that you can slide, it also makes it sort of a lot smoother, because you can slide around a corner straight into a crouch. Sometimes they're not going to expect you to go down, and they're not going to be able to readjust their aim fast enough to sort of focus on you. So basically you run into an enemy, hold down the crouch button or the prone button, and then that's going to make you hit the floor. And it's also nice if you can sort of aim as high as you sort of can towards the enemy, because it's quite easy to hit headshots when you're lying down on the floor. But just be warned, sort of, you are literally lying on the floor, so you'll also be susceptible to a headshot if their aim's fast enough. But a lot of the time, you know, if you can remember to do this, it's going to make a huge difference in your gunfight, instead of literally just running into an enemy or walking into them really slowly around the corner. But as I said, if you link this up to the end of a slide cancel around the corner, you know, I'd say there's a very, very good chance you're going to win that fight. So that's all we got on Dropshots. On to the next one. So up next, we're going to talk about shouldering. So basically, all this is you'll see a lot of big players doing this. It's basically, if you know an enemy's there, you're going to shoulder in and out of cover, similar to strafing as well, because you can do this when you're not in cover, which is going to help you win gunfights. But you can slide into a corner as well. This is popular in Warzone when you used to plate up, and it's sort of, basically if an enemy's pushing you, you'd rather know where they are. So you'll see here when this bot runs up on me, I'll show you an example. It's basically, obviously he's a bot, but basically this is the kind of basic of it. It just gives you information on where the enemy is, and it lets you line up your aim as well. And then similar to shouldering, this is called snaking, or just sort of crouching in and out of cover is basically all it is. So as you can see, constantly crouching and standing up, once again, just gives you some information on the enemies whilst you heal up, or if they shot you first. It is quite a good one just to catch them off guard as well. If you know an enemy's coming, you can crouch behind and then pop up like that. And as always, keep that centered crosshair on the enemy of where you think they're going to be. Quite a good one to get headshots with as well, because obviously if you're behind cover, you can most likely only see their upper body. But there we have it. That's the end of shouldering and snaking. So guys, those are the different movement styles which I wanted to talk about today. But now, as I said, we're going to go through just a few quick tips and things to think about whilst you're playing regarding your movement to win those more gunfights. So as I've been saying throughout the video, centering your crosshairs is very important. Basically all this means is the little dot in the middle of the screen. When you come around a corner, for example, you want to sort of keep that where you believe the enemy's going to be. And you want to keep it at kind of head to chest level. Because obviously if you're running around aiming at the floor, you're probably not going to get the jump on the enemy as fast. But you want to keep that at head height, so you can get those nice sort of headshots off on the enemies. And next I wanted to just say, as I said earlier, similar to when I said about the slide cancel into the drop shot, basically you want to link your movements together. So that was one example. Or you could even slide around a corner into a jump shot, into a B-hop. There's a lot of different movements, but this will make you move around the map a lot smoother once you get used to it. And also just sort of playing against bots, as you've seen me into the video before. The footage you're seeing now is a real game, by the way. But if you're playing against bots as well, this will get you warmed up with your movement. And it makes it a lot smoother when you actually come into multiplayer as well. It's a lot easier. And then up next, I just wanted to say sort of map knowledge is very important. So if you can get used to all the maps on this game quite early on, you know where to expect the enemies to be when you come around the corner fast, and you're not just running sort of aimlessly. I know you see a lot of the popular streamers playing really super aggressive and that sort of thing, but you know, just make sure you know what you're doing and not running around just like a headless chicken basically. And then also, if you're moving really fast, you want to be using a fast gun. So an SMG would be perfect for this, although you can get like a fast AR or something like that. And also just sort of use your mini-map as well. So if you see red dots, just keep them in mind when you're coming around a corner or something like that, and you know where the enemies are. So guys, that's the end of this episode. I will be bringing out more episodes of Vanguard 101. As I said at the beginning, I sort of going to start off kind of basic, and we're going to move on through sort of different tips and tricks throughout the game, as we all want to improve at it. But obviously a lot of these tips in today's video, most of you will probably know if you're an experienced player. But I imagine there's quite a lot of new people to COD still, because it is growing again, which is good to see. But as I always say, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and also subscribe. And let me know if there's any sort of topics you'd like me to cover in this series. So guys, I'll speak to you all in the next episode.